Welcome back, everyone. Welcome back to the Korean StarCraft League. Korean StarCraft League week number 45, the semi-finals. We just wrapped up with all the quarterfinals matches, and now we're here to determine, out of our 4 players, who advances on and makes it to Los Gran Finales. As you can see before us, we have our first semi-finals of the night. It's going to be Dark versus ByuN in a Zerg versus Terran, followed by a very different matchup, followed by Hero versus Cure in a Protoss versus Terran as well. So we have Dark, Hero, Cure, and ByuN. Who will make it through? We're here to find out. We are here to find out. We'll start things off with the ZVT, followed by the TVP, followed by the Grand Finals. Let's go. Let us go. Again, ByuN and Dark, they have faced off many times in these online weeklies, and I would go as far as to say that Dark's weakest matchup, and everyone has a weakest matchup, unfortunately. You know, I would say Cyril's is ZVZ, Clem's is TvT. Dark's, I would say, is ZVT, especially against a very fast player. But there's a lot of metagaming between Dark and ByuN. A lot of metagaming going on, which is what I love between them. So how will this story unfold? I'm here to find out. We are here to find out. Now, if you've been watching ByuN recently, ByuN's TvZ, and if you've watched maybe the past month of his play, I'm referring to ByuN in the GSL qualifiers and ByuN in KSL. ByuN has been going for non-stop all-ins. Like, it's been crazy. We've been seeing a lot of 1 and 2 base all-ins from ByuN against players like Solar, DRG, like Shin, the other Korean Zergs. Like, ByuN has been just doing non-stop all-ins. I'm curious if that is still the case or if that trend has ended. We'll see. As spawning in the bottom right hand corner of Site Delta, we have our South Korean Terran player, the Red Terran representing Shopify Rebellion. It is ByuN. And spawning in the top right hand corner, we have the South Korean Zerg player, the Blue Zerg representing Talon Esports. It is Dark. Going for the 15-15. We see this a lot more commonly against ByuN, just because the 15-15 in this matchup is a little bit different when it comes to the benefits. So we saw it against Protoss, against Creator, and how it allows you to expand on location, and it just gives you just a nice, comfortable setup in the early to mid game, as you don't have to expand elsewhere. That is true. Against Terran, that isn't really a benefit because you expand on location anyway at your natural base. The benefit here is you can open up gasless. Now, what I mean by that, Dark has the option to go 15-15 into Queens, delay his link production and delay his gases and go for a third base. He does this very frequently on maps like Golden Aura, on maps like Radisson Station, and on maps like Oceanborn. We can see here, not the case. Okay, we're going for the gas here. We are going to be committing into Ling's speed. I did say he had the option to go gasless, but isn't going for it here. Not yet, not this game, on Site Delta. But we can defend with early game Queens. Queens, they come out a lot faster with this build. And you can skip out on Ling production. And there it is. We have 2 Queens on the way. You can see here that we're not making any Lings right now, as we do not need them. Back at home, ByuN going for a Rax Expand standard opener. He should be going for an SCV Scout as well, as he has chosen not to. So a little bit greedy here. So ByuN, he avoids the SCV Scout. He's going Marine first as well. And my apologies, that was not a Rax Expand. That was a CC first. Oh boy. So we have a safe opener by Dark. We have a greedy build by ByuN. Again, it was a CC first, no SCV Scout, late Reaper Scout as well. Very greedy here by our Terran player. And we're going for a third CC. Oh my god. So again, CC first, no SCV Scout, delayed Reaper production into a third CC before factory. This is the greediest build you can go for in this matchup. Like, the only thing you could do differently here is like CC into CC, then into Rax, but that's just crazy. Like, that's just unviable. But this is borderline insane. Again, as we have very limited gases, we're going into a 3-Rax follow-up as well, an aggressive follow-up here after the initial greed of ByuN, and we'll see if Dark can punish this. Now, if you're curious, what would straight up kill ByuN is Roach Aggression or a Bane Bust. Like, again, we have such a late factory here, late production in general, late units. We have one Reaper and one Marine. That is all that ByuN has to work with. So again, any kind of early game aggression would kill him, and ByuN didn't even SCV scout, so he doesn't even know if there's any early game aggression coming his way. We can see that Dark has been joining. We can see that Dark has been happily joining. Dark has yet to figure out what has been happening. He doesn't have an Overlord across the map. Ooh, okay. His Overlord placement is, again, really safe. He has them here over the main attack paths. He did not send an Overlord across the map. He has no idea what is going on. And ByuN is going to get away with this. He's getting away with this. We have seen ByuN do this before on Alkyone. Specifically, it was post-IEM Katowice, or was it before? No, sorry, it was pre-IEM Katowice. It was ByuN versus Raynor. ByuN versus Raynor in ESL Americas a couple of weeks ago, where ByuN did do this as the Reaper does go down. Fun fact, Maru did something very similar here to Raynor at IEM as well. Maru did this also on Alkyone. Overlord Scout comes in, and now we realize what's been going on. We see the rack setup, we see the delayed factory, we see the third CC's already in orbital as well, as we're getting into double eBays. Like, it's insane what ByuN has gotten away with, and Dark can't punish. It's too late. It's too late at this point. Dark cannot punish his opponent, and even getting supply blocked a little bit as well. 4 Overlords on the way. Dark saturating his third. ByuN in the midst of taking his own, as it is going to be on the horizon. And yeah, this is wild. it's a little bit crazy. I think what I'm most intrigued by is, as I just mentioned, these kind of builds, these kind of openers, are usually reserved to larger maps. They're usually reserved to Radisson Station and Alkyone. So to see this on Side Delta, again, bold move, but it makes sense. This is another one of the larger maps. Has a ramp leading into the natural, so it has a better defensive position here as well. It is harder to punish, harder to be aggressive on. So we'll see if Dark can keep up. Because as you can see here, the worker counts are looking very similar, which is never a good thing for the Zerg. ByuN is on 53 workers, plus mules on top of that. He's got his third base up and running. Dark just now getting his fourth. We're on an even base scan here. Dark is behind economically, is what I will say. And he is not droning. Dark, he's amassing Lings. We have Lings on the way. Lair just now being researched. Very late Lair here from Dark. Oh my god. Lair plus Baneling Nest as he went for a double lever chamber first. Lings, they do flood in. But they do hit the third base. SCVs are going to be going down. Do we have enough reinforcements? We do. ByuN barely does hold on. We can see Dark still flooding Lings across the map. He wants to break this third base. I don't blame him. There is no bunker. SCVs once again being pulled. Dark, he desperately wants to punish this, and he is killing SCVs. He's barely breaking through, and again, ByuN still not quite getting away with it. We break through, every SCV goes down, every Marine as well. 14 SCVs fall. And across the map, ByuN is going for a double drop. That's why he was vulnerable back at home. A lot of his army was across the map. Instead, he's going for the Queens. Gets one. Gets one, two. 2 Queens go down. But we focus down the medevacs. And can we clean this up? It looks like we barely are. Yeah, with Ling reinforcements, the drop is being cleaned up. Lings across the map. They still deny the third base. And ByuN barely was punished. Whew. Oh boy. That was close. So ByuN, despite how greedy he was, he will be bleeding out 18 SCVs, 27 Marines. And just like that, Dark is in this. He's in this game. He's double expanding, getting his 4th and his 5th base. Once again, he dives in with the Lings. Has to respect the army. ByuN does have 1-1. But he's not snowballing out of control the way he wanted to. Now, finally, second factory is on the way. I don't know if you saw, he was trying to get this factory up and running like 2 minutes ago when the Ling flood started. Desperately was trying to get into his factory production. Double drop here across the map. Dark, can he keep up? So far, yeah, he does react in time. Doesn't sustain too many losses. Drones will make it out. As we do threaten the Queens. Oh, getting a lot of damage done. Good movement here out of ByuN. Kills the Queen. And can he get the base? Oh, God. It's close here. Very efficient trades. Medevacs are taking a lot of hits from the Queens. The Lings, they go down. We stim on forward. We focus on the Queens one after the other. And this drop has gotten out of control. We finally force it back. But ByuN traded so well. He lost 10 Marines for 30 Lings and 3 Queens. That was an insane trade. Again, the power of the Marine when there are no Banelings. And we're not done. We're moving out with another double drop. And we can see that Dark, he is struggling. He is rushing to Hydras. The Hydras are vulnerable. As we see here, we stim on forward. Boys are being pulled. Mine shot's going to be going off. We lose 10 workers. Finally, Banelings are coming in. Remember, because of the late lair, that meant late Baneling speed. And that's why it just took so long to get into this. On top of that, to be fair, Dark was prioritizing Hydras. Dark, he's barely holding on. Widow mines are resetting. Oh, there's 2 more mines left. Oh. Ooh, big connection on the Banelings. And we have one more Widow mine remaining. Detection is coming in. Yeah, we stim on forward. Oh, but the Hydras will hold their own. They do hold their own for a time. ByuN gonna be picking up. Threatening a drop into the main. Behind this, amassing his army. He has gone up to 3-way saturation. We should be seeing a 4th soon, and there it is. 4th is now finishing up to expand towards the right-hand side. 3-3 underway. ByuN, he does have quite a substantial upgrade lead here with his upgrades. I mean, because of the opener as well. So there we go. We drop into the main base. We go straight for that Hydra then. Up. Hydra is going to get picked off. Very nice pick off there from ByuN. Does deny the upgrade as well. Does deny the upgrades. Has Dark, he's still on the back foot again. His trades have been brutal. That's why Dark has barely been able to keep up. Barely been able to keep up with the supply. Hive soon to be on the way. ByuN stimming forward. Up. Oh my god. And the Banelings, oh, they will not connect. Massive mine shot goes off just in time. Shuts down the Banelings, and ByuN, he's stimming on forward, focusing on whatever is left. How many Banelings do we have remaining? 10. Oh, is that going to be enough? Do we have enough in position here as a good target firing once again out of ByuN is forced back. At the same time, double drop in the main base. We snipe the infestation bit. We go for the second Hydrogen. Oh, not quite. We rebuild just in case. Yeah, the Hydrogen is going to be going down for the second time. We just won Hydra speed. As these are still slow Hydras and Dark is being pulled apart. It's just been too much damage. Too much too quickly here. 6 drones go down. Mine shot's going to be going off. Decent Baneling connections. But that was every single Baneling. We have 2 left here. Trying to engage. And ByuN is going to be forced to pick up, but it's just too much. GG gets called, and ByuN takes game number 1. GG. ByuN with a wild start to the game, going CC first into, again, into no SCV Scout, into Delayed Reaper, into a 3rd CC, Papi, into double E-base as well. Not the first time we've seen that build from ByuN, but the first time we've seen it against Dark. He's done it before against Raynor. He's done it a couple of times actually against Raynor. Yeah, against Dark, he's able to almost make it work. I say almost. The Ling counterattack from Dark was really important, and because of it, he was able to stop ByuN from snowballing out of control early on. But the trades, the draw play from ByuN was insane, and that more than made up for it. More than made up for the lack of workers and the dead SCVs, as he was trading so damn well. And with that, ByuN takes a lead in the series, and now we're getting into game number 2. Let's go. Oh, I see Senor Angry in the chat. Hero versus Cure? No, we are casting Hero versus Cure after this. I apologize if I didn't make this clear, but after we cover Dark versus ByuN, we're going to be casting Hero versus Cure, as it was covered by some of the other casters live at the time. And here we go, spawning in the top right-hand corner of Alkione, we have our South Korean Terran player, the Red Terran representing Shopify Rebellion. It is ByuN. leading the series 1-0. Onomas, one more is all he needs to advance on to the grand finals. And spawning in the bottom left-hand corner, we have his opponent. We have the South Korean Zerg player. The blue Zerg representing Talon Esports. Looking to fight back, looking to claw his way back into this. It is Dark. Here we go. This time, ByuN going for the racks first. Let's go. Going for the racks first this time. No CC for shenanigans, which I think is a wise move against Dark. I do think that a greedy build like that you do once in a series. Do it once, don't do it again. And I would have expected that kind of greedy opener on our ByuN of all maps. Instead, standard game as we had it on side Delta instead. Meanwhile, we are going for that hatch first. It's going to be a hatch gas full standard opener here at the Dark. This time, it is not a 15-15. To kind of go under the theory as to why, at least I would assume. If you remember, game 1, Dark did go for a 15-15 opener. That is because side Delta is a lot more prone, I would say, to something like a 2-racks. 2-racks Reaper specifically. Here on our ByuN, it's very macro-oriented. Longer rush distance by ground, a lot of bases to be taken, very defendable as well on 3 and 4 bases. We see a lot of late game on our ByuN, which is, I assume, why Dark does not go for the 15-15 this time. Standard opener instead, so Dark won't, or he will have a better economic start compared to game 1. We'll have that better economy. Meanwhile, ByuN getting into his CC on location. Once again, 2 games in a row, no SCV Scout. No SCV Scout from ByuN. Again, we've said this before, but players like ByuN, players like Cure, players like Maru, these top Korean Terrans, they often skip their SCV Scout. Both against Zerg and Protoss players as well. And even Terrans. Like, they're just that much more efficient. They're very, again, confident in their ability to react in time, react and defend, and rely on their Reaper Scout instead. Doesn't mean they always skip it, but most of the time they do. As Reaper does dip into the natural, trading with the Lings. Looking for a way in. Dark is able to get his third base up and running. Did slip a drone away. And behind this, ByuN is going for a third CC before Starport, but after the factory. So just a standard economic opener. He isn't being anywhere near as greedy as he was on side Delta. Now going for the add-on swap, going for Hellion production. And this should be leading into a Starport into Banshee play. It should be, but we'll see. Oh my god, never mind! As I say, we should be getting into a Starport, but this is not the first time we've seen ByuN play mech. If you were here last week, or sorry, 2 weeks ago, ByuN versus DRG, ByuN played mech against Dongray Gu as well. And I remember at the time, a lot of people in the chat were like, what's going on? ByuN, what? Why has he fallen? You were the chosen one. You were meant to be the one never to play mech. But ByuN, he has been playing mech recently. It makes sense because Maru has been playing mech. And if Maru's doing something, typically ByuN does it as well, as they are good friends. And yeah, that's a second factory. Ay, ay, ay. 2 KSLs in a row. ByuN, he's whipping the mech out. Third factory. Just in case you wanted, just in case you were coping in the chat, and you're like, oh no, he'll switch back to Bio. Cope? Nah. Third factory here for ByuN is going for the battle mech. Again, Maru's been doing this. Clem has been sprinkling this into his play, and clearly ByuN is as well. It's not like they play mech every game, but like in a best of 3 or a best of 5 against a Zerg player, they will typically whip it out at least once. At least once. As you see, Dark going for a very early Roach Warren, by the way. That is a hidden Roach Warren behind the natural base. We're cutting workers here at 43. We're not saturating the third base, or we're barely saturating the third, and Dark is working on a push. Has he scouted? He has not. He doesn't even know what's going on in the main base. He hasn't seen anything in the main, but he's going for a Roach Ling push nonetheless. Here we go. I mean, it's quite committed here from Dark. He's moving out across the map. He is being spotted here by the Hellions. Big scout by ByuN. He sees the Roaches. ByuN sees the Roaches. He's amassing Cyclones back at home, but there's no tanks. There's no tank production. There's no bunker. There's nothing to fill a bunker up anyway. Hellions, they will do nothing here against the Roaches, and Dark is looking to commit. He's looking to go all in. Dark completely all in with this push. ByuN trying to wall up. Again, needs as many Cyclones as possible. There it is. Ravagers are on the way. They will spell an end to that wall. Hellions trying to catch reinforcements. Dark a little bit supply block. He made 6 Overlords. Still amassing more Lings. And there we go. The Lings, they made their way across the map. They avoided the Hellions. Big moves there by Dark. Avoids the Hellions. Piles down the wall. Tries to at least. And once the wall falls, then the Lings can flood in. Again, the Lings, they're waiting in the back line. Waiting for an opening before we pull the trigger. And the wall is crumbling. Deeper is going down. Cyclone's looking quite vulnerable here. And now is the time. The wall has fallen. The Lings, they flood in. Boys are being pulled. Bile zoning away those Cyclones. SCVs are going down. Oh, we avoid it. we try to slip into main base. Quick moves there out of ByuN. Does wall up with the Biles. They connect in the middle line. They take down the SCVs. They take down a couple of the Hellions as well. And we're getting on top of the Cyclones. Yeah, without any Hellions, the Cyclones are so vulnerable to these Lings. As Cyclones are falling. We're down to 5 Cyclones remaining here. And the Lings, they're coming in. They chase down the Cyclones. Just barely. They won't get the ones in the main. We will barely hold on. But we lost 28 SCVs. And Dark, he's droning. Behind this Dark, he's chilling. He's dealt enough damage. He has crippled the economy of ByuN. And now he can drone. Now he can drone on up from here. He still has more Lings to work with. He's coming for the surround. No. He's going to be collapsing on these Cyclones. He will get us around on 2 of them. Gets 2. Gets a 3rd Cyclone. Big pickups here by Dark. Behind this, working towards Burrow. Working towards Tunneling Claw Roaches as well, I imagine. Once he does get that lair up and running. And ByuN is in a rough position. Sure, mech can be an efficient composition, but specifically battle mech is very momentum based. Very much so. Ideally, you want a good fight and you want to snowball from there with your Cyclones, just out trading, kiting your opponent to death. This is not a good position to be in, though, with these Cyclones, as we're making 5 at a time. Natural base getting up and running, 3rd base on the way. Now we're getting to tank production. Now, ByuN can try and slow the game down. We should now be focusing on tanks. The Cyclones, they have map control. We could still be in for a longer game. Dark is just comfortable. It's very comfortable. Taking a 4th base, droning on up. Lings, they come in once again. They catch another Cyclone. Another Cyclone. We can see ByuN, he's hunting those Lings down. At least trying to. And he will not come across them. As he does barely miss those Lings. At least the Rax does spot them. Now he knows. That's where they are. 4 CC on the way. 2 more factories. Continuing tank production. But Dark should be the first to max out. Wait, I mean, he should be the first to drone up to 80. As the Roaches are forced back. Lings, you can see them heading towards the would-be 4th. And knocking down those rocks. Trying to get more movement in general. Double armory on the way here by ByuN. Again, his goal here is the turtle. As we do bleed out a couple of Roaches. Lings, they finally break through. They break through the rocks. They come in from behind and they get us around here on the Cyclones. Big catch here by Dark. Outmaneuvering, outpositioning ByuN. He gets caught out, bleeds out so many Cyclones. Oof. The tank holds the line, but again, that was a good trade for Dark, killing 7 Cyclones. As we mentioned before, the power of the Cyclone is once you hit critical mass, you can build up over time and just overwhelm the Zerg player, but that is not what ByuN's been able to do. Constantly been bleeding out those Cyclones. Now 4th base is on the way. Again, now we're making 2 tanks at a time in the main base. And Dark has droned up to 4 base saturation, which is true. Hive is on the way, but he hasn't quite droned up to 80 yet. We're still getting there. As here we go, we come in from behind. The tanks are exposed. Again, there just aren't enough Cyclones. Not enough Cyclones. We get on top of the tanks. They fall down one after the other. GG gets called. Dark overwhelms, and Dark takes game number 2, tying up the series 1-1. GG. Let's go. GG. ByuN trying to get into his mech, but as he was making it up, as he was getting into his Cyclone production, Dark was able to go for an all-in. Fun fact, Dark didn't even know what was happening. Didn't even know that mech was going on. Even if it was a standard game, like Dark would have committed and, I mean, may have found success anyway. And yeah, just a really good execution by Dark. Really patient play. I love that Dark, he kept his Lings initially at home. If you remember, he waited for the Hellions to turn back around. Because the Hellions, they had map control. They were in the center with the Zolnaga. So Dark, he waited for the Hellions to be dealt with or to be forced back to the natural. Then the Lings moved out and we still kept them at home. I'm sorry, we still kept them back. We still kept them at the third until the wall was broken. And then we flooded in. So just really efficient, really patient play there out of Dark. Was able to break his opponents and maintain his lead afterwards. Maintain that lead. And with that, we're getting into game 3. We have an ace match. We're going all the way to game number 3 here on Solaris. Let's go. Let us go. Why nobody showed Cure versus Hero? I'm pretty sure people did show it. Because we have the replays. But they're out there. Did happen. As we're getting into game 3 and spawning in the bottom left-hand corner of Solaris, we have our South Korean Terran player, the Red Terran representing Shopify Rebellion, being forced into game 3, into the ace match. Can he bounce back? It is ByuN. And spawning in the top right-hand corner, we have his opponent, we have the South Korean Zerg player, the blue Zerg representing Talon Esports. It is Dark. Here we go. We have a game 3. We have an ace match. ByuN, I'm sure, is going to be deterred from going into mech. I'm sure we will not be seeing additional factories. Fingers crossed. As ByuN. Are we going CC first again? It looks like we are. Back at home, Dark is going for a standard hatch gas pool. Standard opener here out of Dark. Meanwhile, ByuN is going to risk it all here once again in the ace match with a CC first. A very greedy opener from ByuN. CC first into factory, sorry, into racks. The question becomes, does he go 3 CC before factory again? Does he rush into a third base or is it just CC first? We'll see. We'll see how greedy ByuN is going to be. Back at home, Dark, again, hatch gas pool, standard opener. Overlord's moving out across the map. ByuN, once again, as he has avoided this entire series, will not be SCV scouting. So has no idea what Dark is up to. He might even decide to skip his Reaper again. We shall see. Oh, the copy pasta, papi. Let's go. I want Dark's big, hairy, sweaty arms to hold me so tight while he kisses his Valencia trophy like no tomorrow. I want him to call me my little Zergling. I'm going to scream back, Park Ryung-woo, as he holds me down and spanks my butt with his big, meaty hands. Ah, beautiful. You're an animal, Papi. You're an animal. That's the Dark copy pasta. Yeah. Let's go. As we can see, it's CC first into racks, into factory. Okay, so we're not being hyper greedy here like we saw in game 1. We're being a little bit more tame here in the follow-up, thankfully here by ByuN, as he is working towards that factory setup. Meanwhile, I believe once again, ByuN, yep, he skipped his Reaper. When you go CC first, you skip your Reaper. So ByuN has no idea what is going on, has no idea what Dark is doing. Thankfully for ByuN, Dark is just droning. Just droning up, pulling out of gas with Ling speed. Speaking of, Lings are going to be dipping in. They get eyes on the Marine, and they get eyes on the factory as well. So a nice scout there by Dark, as he does get an SCV. He gets a second. Uh-oh. Can he get the Marine? He will get the Marine as well. Very nice trades here from Dark. 2 SCVs and a Marine. He also confirms that the factory wasn't delayed, so he knows that there wasn't a Gigafast 3rd CC. It is a 3rd CC after the first factory. That is the second factory. Sounds like typical Artosis. Yeah. But that is a second factory. We're gonna make it happen again. Oh boy, we are going back into the mech. If at first you don't succeed, try and try again. ByuN, he believes. He has faith here in his ability to make this factory work. Third CC is on the way. Behind this, Roach Warren has been thrown down well ahead of time. ByuN hasn't confirmed what's going on, but once again is going for a very similar style as game number 2. Going for the Roach push. Now, we'll see if he can execute it as well as he did previously. He's going to be moving out with Roaches, flooding Lings across the map as well. It's going to be a Roach-based all-in from Dark, assuming he doesn't drone behind it. There are 2 different variations. You can go for a 9 Roach push, or you can flood Lings with it. If you just go for the 9 Roaches, I mean, we just drone and saturate our bases. Hellions do rock up. They confirm the lack of saturation at the 3rd. But we have yet to see the Roaches or the tech. ByuN's still in the dark. Back at home, we're getting to Cyclone production. We've made our first wave of Hellions. And we're droning. Ooh, okay. So Dark is not going for the all-in. Is going for a Roach push, and it looks like the all-in, but as you can see, he's not making Lings. Unlike the previous game, he's not making Lings. He's droning up his 3rd. He's taking his gases. This is some light pressure out of Dark, and it's designed to maybe take control of the natural, but not really do much more than that. Yeah, Roaches have been spotted. Hellions, 1 of them, 2 of them do go down. Good cleanup here from Dark as he shuts down those Hellions. Again, Ling speed is delayed just because of the Roach production. And again, Dark is just droning. Meanwhile, ByuN has plenty of time to respond to prepare. 3rd base is being taken. Cyclones have amassed. And the small amount of Roaches, they won't do any damage. Yeah, they pull back. If we moved out, Dark would be hunted down. Like, he would lose every single Roach if he pushed. So he has to be respecting the army here of ByuN. Double armory on the way. ByuN with a much more comfortable game here in game 3. As he's happily taking his 3rd, focusing on the rest of his production. 4th CC is on the way. Tank production has commenced, and ByuN is getting ready to move out. Now, Dark, he's aware of the mech. His Overlord Scout was able to confirm the rest of the factories, but Dark doesn't have the momentum that he did last time. So it's going to be a much more stable game here, much better for the Terran. We're droning up. I'm liking the fast infestation bit. I imagine this is going to be for faster infestors, for fungal growths. Fungals are a good way to deal with these cyclones. But we'll see. Dark may just decide to go for a fast hive. As the infestation bit is still on the way, we have Hurricane Thrusters in production for those cyclones. Really early tank production as well from ByuN. Not investing as heavily into the earlier cyclones. He's only got 7. So a much more defensive style here out of ByuN. Just really fast tanks. And there it is. Hive is on the way. We have skipped the infestors. Risky move here by Dark, but is going to be skipping them. Getting into his hive tech. Double expanding as we speak. ByuN getting in position to potentially deny one of the expansions. Could deny the hatchery here. As Cyclones, they do threaten a dive. We can see Dark getting ready for Lingbane Roach Ravager. Just a pretty standard setup here for Dark. Just trying to maintain map control, and the question becomes, can Dark deny any of these bases? Now, the problem here is on Solaris, your 4th is so secure. Here on the right-hand side, there are some brutal choke points to try to break through. Towards the left, we have a ramp leading up into the planetary as well, so breaking this 4-base setup is going to be difficult. We do see ByuN checking with the Changeling. Really, it's about the 5th. It's can we deny the 5th base? That's where that's where Dark's attention should be. As the 4th is going to be a foregone conclusion at this point. Overseas Scout confirming the production, confirming the setup. Spire is on the way. That is an interesting one. Okay, so Mutas can do okay. So Mutas against Mech has been nerfed in the most recent patch. The reason why is that Cyclones do far better. Nowadays with Cyclones, as they don't do as much damage to armored, but they do more damage to everything else, with their attack rates, they can actually annihilate mutas. So we have to be very careful here with how we maneuver. As Cyclones are now a better answer. Not the answer. Like, ideally, we still want Thors mixed in. Ideally, we still want Thors, but here we go. ByuN is moving out. Dark has maxed. Maxed out with his Lings, with his Roaches. We collapse on the army. We catch it unsieged. A couple of tanks going to be going down. Lings are being cleaned up, though. Yeah, the Lings are annihilated. Good kiting here out of ByuN, and he does take the fight. Again, really crisp move there from ByuN, refusing to siege. Just kiting with his tanks, trading well, pushing on forward, and he will deny this hatchery. Dark knows he cannot save it. The base is gonna fall. As ByuN, he bullies his way forward. Hatchery's gonna be going down. Dark, he's in a lot of trouble. He's amassing Lingbane Roach Ravager here on top of the ramp. But again, without Vipers, without Spellcasters, how do we engage? And the only way to engage this is with the surround. And even then, it's not going to be easy. A Greater Spire on the way. We're not concerned with mutas. Again, mutas against this many Cyclones wouldn't be ideal either. There it is. Vipers have arrived. We spoke about those Blinding Clouds. We're coming in. We dive on top of the army. We get our first couple of Blinding Clouds as well. Yoinking in the Cyclones. A much cleaner engage here from Dark. Takes down tanks, takes down Cyclones, but he is running out of energy. Oh, and can he get on top of the tanks? It looks like he barely can. Oof. Yeah, the piles are looking good. Dark, he does force back the army. He did lose a base, but Dark, he saved the drones. That's what's important. He saved his workers. The drones, they did main out over. Saturating these southern bases. Dark, he still maintains his economy. And he has gotten away with the Greater Spire. With this, Broodlords are on the horizon. Broodlords can be on the way. Vipers, they all survive. That's also what's important. They survive the fights. We're regenerating energy. Gaining more value. Fifth base is on the way. Planetary not quite done. There we get into the mineral line. But the fifth is getting fortified here, which is a scary moment here for Dark. As ByuN is sustaining himself, he can max out. Cyclone's going for a big counterattack, and Dark, are we in position? Tanks through the center. Distracting Dark, and the base may go down. Lings are coming in, though. We come in for a surround. Show us the biles as well. As ByuN, he is trapped, and he will lose every single Cyclone. This was not worth it. He gets 10 worker kills for 13 Cyclones. Ay, ay, ay. So good cleanup there by Dark. Broodlords are on the way. Let's go. Broodlords in production. But it looks like ByuN may have caught wind of this because he's throwing down 2 more starports for Vikings. We need Vikings. We need Liberators. The Cyclones doing well for themselves, denying another base. They deny another hatchery. Bailing run by being set up here for Dark to head into that mineral line. ByuN rotating around, getting on top of the Broodlords. Ooh, and 1 Broodlord goes down. Not a bad start there for ByuN. As the Baileys, they roll in. No reaction. Oh, ByuN a little bit distracted, and the mineral line will go down. Broodlords, they do push forward. They catch some tanks. Tanks are falling. Big pickoffs here by Dark. Getting, what was that? 4, almost 5 tanks. 4 free. ByuN moving on the right-hand side. Dark pushing forward. Getting killed 17 SCVs. Going for the 5th. Bit of a desperation move here out of ByuN. Back at home, he is amassing Vikings. Vikings are on the way to help against the Broods. Good Blinding Clouds here on these tanks. That's a lot of tanks, but we have enough Blinding Clouds. Looks like Dark will break through. Cleans up this army. Barely shuts down the tanks. At the same time, oh, the Broodlords unable to break the 5th. And where's the anti-air? Oh, there isn't really much here. Yeah, Broodlords are going down to the Vikings. Expensive losses here for Dark. He did clean up tanks, but he's losing Broodlords. 3 Broodlords remaining. Losing 6 already. At the same time, Dark pushes in towards that 3rd. Does deny it. Takes down a lot of SCVs, but again, every single Broodlord is going to go down. We're now switching back into Lingbane Roach Ravager as we get 21 SCV kills. And Dark is almost maxed. He's on the line there. He's so close here to maxing out, to pushing out once again. Checking the vision here. Has Dark scouted top left? He hasn't. He doesn't know about another fully fresh mining base. Like, ByuN's economy is still looking good. He's still on 81 SCVs, which is crazy. He just lost 21 workers that it didn't even phase him. He still has a solid economy. Soon about to have 3-3 for both players. Is going to be faster here for ByuN, as +3 vehicle plating is going to finish. Dark is maxed out, trying to catch the army. Oh, the Vipers! The Vipers! Oh, one of them goes down, force the power bomb. The other under fire as well. But we do get the planetary. Planetary goes down. Now, if you remember earlier, I was talking about how the game becomes Dark denying the 5th. He does deny the 5th, but there's a 6th base, which, again, still unscouted. Big Ling run by. Gets a couple of SCVs, and Dark, he does get eyes on the 6th planetary. He's going for it, and he should get it. Big Biles takes down the planetary, takes down the SCVs. Dark, he's in the driver's seat. Leaves his roaches to clean up whatever he can. He's racing back home. Speaking of, ByuN is pushing. ByuN is down to 4 bases. He needs to counterattack. He will kill a hatchery. He may even get more. Dark trying to race back, running into tanks. Running into those tanks. Again, the Vipers were sniped, and these Cyclones are doing so much damage. They catch so many Ravagers. Dark bleeding out a lot. Bleeding out most of his army. And again, ByuN is committed. Diving on top of those Ravagers, getting another wave. Bailey's are rolling in. The surround. We collapse here on the Cyclones, and it looks like we should clean them up. Yeah, the Cyclones will fall. The tanks as well. We come in for a flank. Cleaning up the tanks. Ooh, but we still have so many tanks sieged up here. Trading well. Yeah, big volleys. We clean up the tanks, but every single Ravager has fallen. The Lingbane as well. And ByuN, he rocks up with his reinforcements. Does rock up. You can see Dark trying to get his economy back under wraps. ByuN rotating around. Dark, he doesn't have to engage, but we need more Ravagers. There we go. 13. 13 are morphing in. The Cyclones, they deny mining. Dark, he's running out of gas. He's running out of gas. Ooh, trading against these Cyclones. Not ideal here for ByuN. Sorry, for Dark. Not ideal, bleeding out those Ravagers. And ByuN rotating around. ByuN, he's reestablished that 5th base as an orbital. It's an exposed 5th, but it's up and running. And that is enough for ByuN to keep this going. Making 10 Cyclones at a time. Jesus. So many Cyclones coming out. Again, collapsing on the army. Where are the Lings? Where are the Bailings? They're not here. Yeah, you can see. Oh, God. It looks like there was a bit of a pause. But you can see Dark sustaining a lot of losses here. Bottom right, back up and running. But Dark, he's on 4 bases. He's down a base. Down a base here compared to his opponents. His 5th base is gonna go down. Dark, he's being starved out. As we catch the Infestor. The Infestor does bleed out here for Dark. Once again pushing in. Good blinding clouds. We only get 1 tank. The 5th base did fall. ByuN pushing in. And Dark, he's up against the ropes. Barely has any creep left on the map. The Vipers are helping, though. Catching a couple of stray units. Whatever we can get. Corruptors on the way. Looks like we want to work towards Broodlords. Oof. Dark trying to get some mining going. As there we go. Finally we go for a link run by. We catch a tank. Oh, we do not. Never mind. Repairs are too good. We keep the tank alive. The tank survives. ByuN, he maintains his 5th. Instead we go for a big link counterattack at the 3rd base. Getting 10 SCVs. Forcing back the Cyclones, and we will clean up the Lings. A good clean up there by ByuN. ByuN, he still maintains his economic lead. He's going for another base, and we can't allow this to happen. Dark, he knows it. He's there with those roaches. He has to delay mining for as long as possible. He's healing a lot of SCVs. A lot of workers are going down. But remember, mules are also a thing. And we can still mule that base. Here come the broods. We have 3 brood lords. And very careful control there. We do throw down those blinding clouds, but it doesn't matter. We can lock on anyway. We do lock on. Tank's gonna be going down. Dark, he holds. I spoke too soon as we come in with a massive amount of cyclones. We catch some of the broodlords, some of the overlords. And really right now, what Dark needs is a base. Like, he is starving. He needs some kind of income. He's going for the center base instead. He's lost the northern base too many times. Ling Rumbai comes in. Oh, did we notice the burrow? That is the question. Is Dark just non-stop Ling Rumbais? Trying to keep his opponent as bay. But a good cleanup. ByuN doesn't lose a single Cyclone. And the longer this goes on, the better it is for ByuN. At least if he maintains his economy here. Yeah, you can see the massive amount of mules at this fresh base. The mule hammer was real. So we have 2 fresh bases for ByuN. Dark, he's down to half a base here, bottom right. A full base here in the center, but still not up. And for the first time in a long time, ByuN has a supply lead. He has a lead in supply. We have Thors on the way for the Broodlords. And how many Cyclones do we have? We have 43! The Mass Cyclone, Poppy. Let's go. 43 Cyclones for ByuN. And I don't know if Dark can deal with that. I don't know if he can handle that. Not with this kind of army. Oh boy. How many? Where do we stop? When is too many? When is too many? 43 Cyclones. I mean, at least we're refining the army with Thors and Liberators. Top left is getting fully up and running, fully saturated for ByuN. Dark has now established a center base, which is pretty important. Very important here. Okay, so Dark can take a fight if we can land like the perfect fungals. If we can catch, like, the problem here is that blinding clouds don't do anything against Cyclones. We need fungal growths to lock them down, lock them in place. Either that or a surround, or like a mixture of the two. The problem with surrounds is there's no creep. Like, there's very limited creep spread here for Dark. He has very limited vision, and we're not stopping. We're taking another base. We expand here towards the north. ByuN, his economy is insane. Here we go. We are pushing in. Liberation zones being thrown down. The freedom has arrived. Thors are here as well. We get some fungal growths. They're okay, but this is still a frontal assault. This is still ideal for ByuN, as he can kite his heart out. And he does see all the infestors. Yes, respect them. Oof. As the Broodlords, they get a couple of free pickups here. They get 1 Cyclone at the same time. We came with the production. We're going to the main. No shot. ByuN, he slips into the main base. He outpositions Dark. As Cyclones are just that much more mobile. They take control of the main base. And the main army pushes towards the last mining base of Dark. Broodlords are exposed. 1 Broodlord goes down. Yeah, the others are vulnerable. Files, they're going to be okay. They're going to be focusing on at least some of the Thors. We get the Neural off. The Neural. It helps me clean up the Thors. We've lost the main. We've lost the Hive, and soon to be the Greater Spire as well. At the same time, 18 SCVs went down. Dark did punish this northern base. Is doing some economic damage. But again, he loses the Hive and the Greater Spire. GG gets called. There's nothing left here for the Zerg, and ByuN will take the series 2-1. GG. GG, well played. ByuN making it happen, Poppy. Struggled with the mech in game 2, but if you remember, in game number 2, Dark was blindly going for a Roach Ling all-in, and he was able to kill ByuN before he could actually get into his third base economy. Here in game number 3, we saw a similar setup by Dark, but it was a fake out. Remember, it was just a 9 Roach push. He was droning behind it. He wasn't committed, which meant that ByuN got away with his opener, he got away with his mech, got away with his Cyclones. It was still a back and forth between our players here, but again, ByuN was just so active, doing such a great job here at just trading efficiently, knocking down bases left and right, keeping up with the tech of Dark and responding in kind, getting into Vikings when he needed to, getting into Thors when he needed to. And we saw him just pull Dark apart with the Mass Cyclone. You know, that's the rough part here when it comes to this dynamic is, especially when you have map control, when you deny creep, like, it's so hard to keep up because Cyclones, they're so fast, they're so quick, and yeah, Dark, he just multiple times was having a really hard time keeping up with ByuN. GG. Congratulations, ByuN advances on to the grand finals, and we are here to determine who makes it to the finals to face off against ByuN. Will it be a Terran or a Protoss? Let's go. Up next is going to be Hero versus Cure in a TVP.